Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to a new lesson. Inshallah, today we are going to start with the past perfect continuous. After that, we are going to take the past continuous tense. Then we are going to have a comprehensive revision of the old tenses of all the past tenses we have talked about. Okay, past perfect continuous. Let's move on. The form. Let's first start with the form. As usual, we said that every sentence in the English language has a subject, verb, and sometimes object. Okay, but the verb differs from tense to tense. Why? Because we are going to have a helping verb or the auxiliary verb, which will play the role of identifying the tense of this sentence. Okay, subject, verb, object. The form in the past perfect continuous tense is subject had been plus the verb at ing or the present participle. Okay, let's look at these examples. I just want you to read them, then think about what we are going to say next. They had been talking for over an hour before Tony arrived. James James had been teaching at the university for more than a year before he left for Asia. Okay, good. We can see that we have two actions, right? We can see that we have two actions. They had been talking, and the other one, Tony, arrived. And these two actions are in the past, happened in the past, right? They had been talking for over an hour before Tony arrived. Okay, then since we have two actions in the past, two complete actions, two separate complete actions in the past, then you remember that that rule we talked about, which is the past perfect, right? When we talk that we have two completely separate actions in the past happened in the past, right? And this is the same, but there is one difference, and we are going to discover it together, inshallah. Okay, James had been teaching at the university for more than a year before he left for Asia. It's the same, right? We have one here, and the other one he left, right? But we can notice that this is progressive, right? Progressive, but where? In the past. Okay, good. Let's move on. When do we use it? Remember the past perfect when we talked about the past perfect last time. When we talked about the past perfect last time, it talks about two separate actions in the past. The action in the earlier past is said to be the past perfect tense, right? So we talked here, like if I want to share this with you, wait. You share one point. So when we talked last time, I said we have what? Here, I said this as the present, right? And this was the future, and that was the past, right? Okay, so when we talk about the past perfect, we said we have two complete actions in the past, two completely separate actions in the past. This one is what? This one is what? Is the past perfect, right? Because it happened in the earlier past. Now, the only difference here that when we talk about the past perfect continuous, we have also two complete actions in the past, but one of them, what happened? Continued for a specific time in the past, right? So it also happened in the earlier past. It was the earlier action, and at the same time, it continued for a period of time. So we represent it like this. This is the past simple, and this is the past perfect continuous. So if I took example here, when we look at our example, okay, so for past perfect. So when we look here, he had finished his homework before he went to bed. So it's like this. So it's now like this, right? This and this. And this where he finished his homework. He finished his homework, right? Let's see. And he went to bed. Let's see, right? So we have two actions in the past. The concert had already started by the time we got there. It's the same case, right? The concert had already started. It happened before that our arrival to the concert. Okay. Now we come to the past. We come to the past perfect continuous. Okay. Look at this. The past perfect continuous has almost the same idea. That's right. But in but it often emphasizes the duration of the earlier action. All right. So look at this sentence. He had finished his homework before he went to bed. Look what I have done here. He had been doing his homework for 3 hours before he went to bed. So this happened. This happened here. See, it became like this. He went to bed, right? He went to bed. It's here. We know who's the earlier action, or which is the earlier action. But look at here. See, he had been doing his homework for 3 hours. This duration is 3 hours. And he had been doing his homework in this duration. And after that, he went to bed. See, so we have an emphasis on the time, on the duration that he kept doing his homework at. But by the time I moved to the UK, I had been studying in Palestine for 5 years. So I studied in Palestine for 5 years, or I had been studying in Palestine for 5 years before I went to the UK. All right. So let's look at this. At the negative and the interrogative part. Okay, remember negatives and interrogatives are the auxiliary verbs tasks, right? Because we said before that we can't make any negative or interrogative any negative or interrogative without having an auxiliary verb. That's right. So the auxiliary verb here in this tense is had. Statement. We have a statement here. You had been waiting, or you had been waiting there for more than 2 hours when she finally arrived. Okay. Question. What did we say in the question? How do we make a question when we have the auxiliary verb? We just place it before the subject. So it becomes, had you been waiting there for more than 2 hours when she finally arrived? And how do we make the negative? And how do we make negative? We just we only replace not after the auxiliary verb. So it becomes you hadn't been waiting there for more than 2 hours when she finally arrived. Okay, so that's all. That was all for today's lesson. I want you to see the lectures. I want you to watch them to understand everything. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment your questions and I will answer them. Next time, I will talk about the past continuous, and after that, I'm going to make a comprehensive revision for the all past tenses. Okay? Um, so I hope you enjoyed this lesson. That was all for today, and see you in another lecture, inshallah.